All right, let's get started with Ben Johnson, your guy in Chicago. I'm surprised you guys didn't go out for drinks over the weekend, hanging out. He's taking shots at the division rivals. Ben Johnson, we know he does not love the Packers, Colin, and here's what he said pertaining his arch rivals.
What is the deal with the Packers?
Who likes the Packers? The Bears and the Packers, they should not like each other. I think it's as simple as that. And I think that's going to make this rivalry, this game, something that people are going to watch here going forward.
Man, how do you not like that guy? He was at the Bulls game yesterday against the Milwaukee Bucks, 2:30 start time Central, and got a standing O when he got introduced at the Bulls game yesterday.
I would hope so.
Pretty nice, yeah.
I mean, you might get a standing ovation if you showed your face of that wretched team, right? I mean, Bulls are what, 25 wins, 30?
People love Ben Johnson.
They do. Hey, first year. I mean, he was so good. How could you not like him? Come on, the guy's on fire. All right, let's go to the Combine for story number 2, Colin.
Wow. All right, that was hardly a story, was it? First and foremost, let's get one thing crystal clear. Essentially, any head coach in the NFL is going to receive a standing ovation in that type of setting. If you are a football coach of any kind and you show up at a basketball game, the crowd typically rises to its feet and gets enthusiastically loud, provided you have enjoyed even a modest amount of success in your role. So that particular aspect has less to do with Ben Johnson specifically, and more to do with the general reverence for the position. However, there is no denying that the city of Chicago is genuinely thrilled and energized about Ben Johnson's arrival. In my view, he represents the single most critical force for the Chicago Bears moving forward, even more so than the young man under center, Caleb Williams. But, as I have emphasized repeatedly, if your ultimate ambition is to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs, to overcome the combination of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, then the pairing of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams is precisely the formula you need to bet on. Now, switching gears to discuss the relationship between the Bears and the Green Bay Packers, and the idea that these two franchises should harbor mutual disdain. Honestly, that is one element of this entire situation that I find myself somewhat indifferent toward. Do not misunderstand me. I fully embrace the energy. I appreciate the intensity of a historic rivalry. I can get excited about all of that narrative drama. But at the same time, I am hesitant to blow this particular incident out of proportion. This seems like one of those fleeting moments in the news cycle where the topic is briefly touched upon and then immediately discarded. The broadcast essentially wanted to dedicate a quick segment to the Bears and then the Packers. Even the question posed by whatever his name was, I cannot recall it at the moment, when he asked Ben Johnson directly about his feelings toward the Packers, and Johnson responded with something along the lines of, "I don't think we're supposed to like each other." The interviewer simply moved on. The whole exchange makes you wonder, what are we even doing here? I understand the appeal, but the offseason inevitably transforms the NFL into something resembling a reality TV show, like The Real Housewives of Chicago. That is simply what the league becomes during these months. This presents a genuine challenge for someone like me, who desperately wants to concentrate on the concrete reality of any given topic. That is my consistent approach. I always strive to ground every conversation in reality, to examine the narratives themselves and locate the truth within them. I try to assess the accuracy of the stories being thrust upon us, to understand how those stories are being constructed, and to take a slightly more analytical, meta perspective on the entire process. And then we have moments like this, discussing Ben Johnson receiving a standing ovation at a basketball game and his offhand comment about not liking the Packers. And I find myself thinking, I just don't know. So, let me pose a genuine question, and I am increasingly trying to ask this because I truly want to understand. How do all of you consume NFL media during the offseason? What is the actual value of stories like this to you? There is only so much analysis one can produce about a team's needs in free agency or their potential strategies in the draft. Eventually, those topics become exhausted, and then we are left with content like this. I recognize that many people simply tune out NFL media entirely once the season ends. Their engagement drops off a cliff as soon as their team is eliminated from the playoffs. That is just the natural cycle, and I completely understand it. For a long time, I myself would take a break from consuming sports media after the Super Bowl. I would typically start tuning back in around March, probably right about this time of year. The pattern usually went: I would pay attention to the immediate aftermath of the Super Bowl, have those conversations, and then I would drift away for a while, focusing more on basketball and other sports. Then, around March or April, I would start wondering what was happening in the football world again. So, I am genuinely curious. Do you still enjoy these types of conversations during the off-season? Because theoretically, I could produce an entire video dissecting the Bears-Packers rivalry, framing it as great for the NFL's marketing and all that comes with it. I could celebrate Ben Johnson for making those comments. But a part of me hesitates and wonders, is that content worth creating? Is it worth discussing? That is precisely why a segment like this makes me reflect on what kind of conversations you actually want to have during the off-season. As I mentioned, we cannot fill every day with X's and O's breakdowns and draft prospect analysis. There is a finite amount of material there, especially while we are all waiting for free agency to begin or for draft day to arrive. Understanding your preferences would also help me determine the type of conversations I should prioritize, the discussions you actually want to listen to and engage with. What does the current situation call for? During the football season, I find myself completely losing track of time. I have no idea if it is October, November, or December. I do not know what day of the week it is. If it is your birthday during that stretch, I would have absolutely no clue. I am so locked in that the season becomes an absolute whirlwind. But during the off-season, the dynamic flips. I am acutely aware of the date. Okay, it is March 2nd. That means about a month until the draft, and then about a month after that, OTAs start. I am constantly doing the mental math, calculating how many months we are away from meaningful football conversations. And that leads me back to my main point. I am trying to find a smoother, more engaging way to navigate this period. What topics do you actually want to discuss? That is what a segment like this ultimately reveals to me. The media spent maybe 45 seconds on this Ben Johnson story and then promptly moved on to the next team. That was essentially the entire Chicago Bears segment for the day. Ben Johnson being asked about the Packers and getting a standing ovation at a Bulls game. It was pretty cool, I guess. But at the same time, I cannot fill every single day talking about Caleb Williams' accuracy either. So, I am putting this to you. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree, either way, let's get some discussions started. Let's get into some debates. But most importantly, let's have some fun with it. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love seeing you be a part of it. My goal is to build something we all genuinely feel connected to, something we are truly excited to be a part of. I believe we are well on our way to achieving that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.